You are listening to the Fringe Radio Network. FringeRadioNetwork.com.
You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Earth Oddity, live from the Upper Room Studios. I'm John Long here with my good friend and co-host, Christopher Tiny Sullivan.
How's everybody doing?
We got another great week of some wacky and wild news stories.
There was so many news stories. We had to actually pare down because there was just way too much to talk about.
Right. And for all the people who sent me news stories, if I didn't get yours this week, I'm sorry. But you had some stiff competition this week. So
we have enough material for 2 shows.
Yeah, right. But we're not going to do 2.
We're not going to do 2 shows because we're lazy.
That's right.
But we're just going to pull the cream of the crop.
Right. The best of the best. This was voted on by a panel of experts. And these few stories we have are the ones that are the biggest.
We had 2 odd news experts.
That's right.
Discuss this.
Exactly. So I got an anti-influencer ice cream truck, which I'm very proud to bring that story to the people.
Yes.
Along with some lost Texas hikers who were afraid of a pig. So, a feral pig.
Pigs can be scary.
They can. Very much so.
You ever seen Amityville?
No, I haven't, but I've seen the Arkansas football team, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Good point.
Shout out to Todd.
Man, I have a hearse that got pulled over in the HOV lane.
Okay. All right.
But I want to start with this one. Kansas man who robbed a bank to escape his wife gets home confinement sentence.
Okay. Now, we talked about this story originally, didn't we? It seems like we did way back when.
It was, well, now this was published June 14th, so it's not like a brand new story, but
I thought we did a guy who robbed a bank and he said it was to get away from his wife. Maybe it was another guy who did some other crime to get away from his wife.
Well, maybe he did that, but then maybe this is his sentencing finally came up or something. So this may be the same guy.
This may be an update. We don't know if it's an update.
I would say the punishment fits the crime.
Sure.
In this situation.
Okay.
But a Kansas man who robbed a bank last September and told police that he was hoping to get caught so he would get prison time and escape his wife.
Okay.
Was sentenced Tuesday to 6 months of home confinement after pleading guilty, the Kansas City Star reported.
All right.
So, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is a bummer.
Lawrence John Ripple took the guilty plea in January. He told the judge on Tuesday that he had heart surgery that left him depressed when he committed the bank robbery, the paper reported. His public defender told the court that Ripple had lived a law-abiding life and was in a stable relationship with his wife. He has 4 stepchildren, the report said. 4 stepchildren, that may have a hand in him.
Could get a little tough. Right, yes.
I don't know. Ripple handed a note to the bank teller in Kansas City demanding cash and warning that he had a gun. Ripple took the money, which was, he walked away with a whopping $2,924.
Okay.
And then he went to sit in the lobby where he told a guard that he was the guy that they were looking for. So he didn't even try to get away. Like, he didn't go hit up the lottery stand.
Yeah, head to the casino, do whatever.
He didn't go to a club anywhere.
Right.
He just went and sat in the lobby and was like, I'm the guy.
I'm the guy. I'll be right here when the cops arrive.
Officers arrived quickly. An FBI agent wrote in an affidavit that Ripple had earlier been arguing with his wife. He told investigators that he wrote the note in front of his wife, telling her that he would rather be in jail than at home. And now he's going to be home for a long time.
Oh, man. But do you think, I don't know. I was going to say, do you think it's like a Brer Rabbit situation where he's like, oh, no, please don't let me stay at home, or whatever?
If he had tried to get away with the money, I think you might be onto something and he's secretly a genius.
Right.
But seeing as that he just sat there and waited to get arrested.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
And which that may have been why they went easy on him. Maybe he should have went and tried to spend that almost $3,000 as quickly as possible, and then he would have got some hard
serious
time
jail
in a
time.
state prison.
Right?
So.
Yeah, you got to run. You got to make a run for it if they're going to put you in jail.
They're not going to take this. They're like, you're not really a bank robber,
right? Yeah, you just sat down and waited on us.
You're just wanting 3 hots and a cut. You're not a real criminal.
Yeah. The cops are all disappointed because they couldn't shoot somebody.
Yes.
Oh man, you're just sitting here.
The SWAT team, they get the call and they're like, bank robbery.
Oh yeah,
heck yeah.
Yeah, they're
and then
fired
they get that
up.
second call and they're like, what? What do you mean you don't need us? It's a bank robbery.
They got all their bulletproof stuff on, and that big truck.
I was about to say they all got their Punisher skulls on their front of their vest.
Right. Yeah. It's time to go, boys. And then the dude's just like, nah, I'm just trying to get away from my wife, y'all. The cops are probably like, oh, I understand, man. I got it. I got it. I've been there before. I've never went as far as like robbing a bank, but I've been like, hey, it might just be better,
to be out in the woods.
Yeah, I'll just sit off walking right now, and I'll live the rest of my life in the woods. Yeah. I've been there before.
Like like Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Just wandering from city to city.
Exactly.
Just helping people.
I don't know that I would help anybody.
John would be the Bruce Banner that goes city to city and like causes a lot of trouble.
I think I would be the mysterious guy in the woods that there would be like rumors that I would kidnap people and everything, but I'm really not doing anything, just hanging out, eating beans and whatever I could scavenge up to eat. Yeah, but there would always be people who were like, oh yeah, don't go out old man Long out there in his tent city, he'll kill you. But I'm really like a nice guy. I just like to read and be by myself and not have my wife get on to me all the time. So, yeah.
But you got to have a way to pay that cell phone bill.
It's true.
That's going to be tough to exist without a smartphone.
I don't know. I think I could do it. Yeah. Having existed prior to smartphones, then I feel like I'm pretty confident I could get by without one.
Right.
The world would just suffer not reading my silly Facebook stuff I put
I was about to say, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that we would survive, that we'd be okay.
Right.
It would just not be awesome.
I don't know if I want to do that to the rest of humanity, because I'm sure they all anxiously await everything I post in social media. So
yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Really, if you want to know how important you are on social media, just go dark for a while and see if anybody ever sends you a message like, hey, man, everything cool over there?
Yeah.
I never get them whenever I do. It's like, probably like, God, I'm glad John's not putting crap up again. Okay, so let's move on. Speaking of hikers, since I was just talking about hiking,
perfect
and
segue.
We need a segue, so let's head right here. This comes from Fox4News.com. Lost Texas hikers hide in tree from a feral pig. Quote unquote feral pig.
Well, now I've seen Old Yeller, and feral pigs can be mean.
Yes. How crazy did you watch? I watched Old Yeller in school, like in second grade.
I watched it in school. I watched it at home. I think I watched it again in third grade. I saw it several times when I was a kid.
Here I am in second grade, like my brother passed away and everything. Oh, no. Very emotional year for young John. And then one day they like roll it. Hey kids, we're gonna watch a movie, and I'm like, yes, and it's Old Yeller, and you're like, oh man, I love this guy and his dog. How wonderful. And then they end up. A spoiler alert for everybody.
Yes.
He ends up having to kill his dog. Man, I mean, I was boo-hooing in the classroom. It killed me. I mean, it was rough. It was rough. Anyway, I need to make my kids watch Old Yeller. Maybe I'll just kill their dog in front of them one day.
It's just sort of a rite of passage.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, that and where the red fern grows and all that. Yeah. Anyway. So this comes out of San Antonio. Police officers in San Antonio were searching for 2 lost hikers at the end of July in the Government Canyon State Park after they had taken refuge in a tree from what they thought was a feral hog. It turned out to be nothing more than rumble strips on a nearby road. According to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, the San Antonio Police Department informed them of a 911 missing persons call coming from somewhere in the canyon around 11:30 p.m. on Friday. The hiker had reported that an animal had been following her and growling, so she climbed a tree for safety. Park police officers searched her last reported location but were unable to locate her. The officer reached out to the missing hiker on her cell phone to reassure her help was on the way. She urged him to please hurry because an animal she believed to be a wild pig was nearby and growling. He informed her he would turn on his truck siren and ask her to listen. Smart on his part.
Right.
She was unable to hear his siren, so the officer told her to use her iPhone to send him her location by text message, which she did. Also smart. The officer then hiked to that location and found her and a male subject. Bad luck for the male subject.
Oh, no.
In a tree. She warned the officer that the pig was still close by, and she had just heard it a few minutes before he arrived. Shortly after that, the officer heard a car drive over the rumble strips near the Galm Road and watched as the woman's body language immediately changed. The officer asked if they believed the noise they just heard was a pig, and they both nodded. He explained it was only cars crossing the rumble strips on a nearby roadway.
Oh, no.
Embarrassed by the misperceived threat, the lost hikers were reassured by the officer that the unknown can be scary, and their reaction was surprisingly common. So,
I know.
Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, look, now I was only a Boy Scout second class, so I don't want to pass too much judgment. But if you can't tell the difference between rumble strips and a feral pig,
Yeah.
then maybe hiking isn't for you.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially out at 11:30 p.m.,
Yeah, and
Turn it in before nightfall.
And I have, I've heard feral pigs.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard rumble strips on the road.
Right.
While similar, and maybe a little, I've never been driving over rumble strips and thought, oh my goodness, there's
I
a
want
feral
barbecue.
pig.
I want barbecue. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know. That's rough. And for the dude that's with her, who's
Okay, you had one job.
This is what you got to do, guys. Like, okay, you get up in the tree and I'll stay down here or whatever and protect us from this hog or whatever. You don't get up in the tree with her. And especially if you're like, hey, that's rumble strips. I'm about to score some huge points with this girl. Like, don't worry, I'm going to save you. It's all right.
Yeah.
You got to play this better, man. But at least she had her phone with her. Unlike the girl that was hiking in Hawaii and was following like spirit voices wherever it led her.
Yes.
But, and was able to get some help. But, I would think sooner or later you'd think, well, if there's a hog tracking us, like hogs are just out there wandering around looking for you.
Right.
That it would get close enough that you could see it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't know what kind of terrain they were in. Maybe if it was like super grown up.
Right.
It'd be kind of unnerving.
Yeah.
But if you're out in the open,
Yeah.
it's like, I need to see it before I start climbing a tree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're going to get kind of close to me before I go up a tree. Yeah. But, oh, well, some people aren't used to being in the woods. And
You live, you learn.
yeah, everybody wants to get out and go hiking. Like I saw somebody post on my Facebook was like, if everyone who said they went hiking on Tinder actually went hiking, all the trails would be filled up in the world.
Yes.
Because everybody loves to hike, but very few people actually get out and go hiking. Right.
I was about to say, the hiking itself is not so great, but I like the scenic vistas and the campfire stories.
Oh, yeah.
That's the stuff I like about camping and
Yeah.
hiking. And I hadn't been in probably like 2 years almost, so.
Yeah, trudging along with 40 pounds on your back can get a little, it's not the most fun in the world sometimes.
Yeah.
But once you get in, trail shape, back when I used to hike all the time, it wasn't so bad. You could actually enjoy yourself. But now, like, when Hudson and I went a few months ago, I was just like, hey, I'm ready. Somebody kill me. Just go ahead. Anybody bring a gun along? Just put one right here between my eyeballs and let me die. Because I'm out of shape. But if I was in shape, I would probably enjoy it a lot more.
If you have a good trail, it's not. I would recommend any guy out there, get a kid that likes to ride on your shoulders. Mm-hmm. That is the perfect way to get in shape for hiking with a backpack on.
Absolutely.
But there was this one trail. We went to see the big tree in Bankhead National Forest, and the trail going out there is not an official trail. Now, it's well marked because people travel a lot, but it's not kept up by the Forestry Service. I want to say there's got to be 80 down trees that you got to climb over. Mm-hmm. That trail kicked my butt, and that time I really was. I was right there with you. I was ready to die.
Yeah, you're just like, hey man, just take me out.
But you go on the other trails and it's not so bad.
Yeah, especially up in the Bankhead and Sipsey and all that, where people hike all the time. They're really great. Well-kept trails are all beat down. It's an easy hike for the most part. But yeah, going to the tree can get a little dicey, which I hadn't been there in a long time. But even back when I went, it was pretty dicey. So
yeah. I tell you what, though, it'll get you some likes on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
People love those big tree pics.
They do. That's true. That's true.
Well, anyway, moving along here. Highway Patrol pulled over a hearse in the HOV lane. The driver pointed to the back and asked, "He doesn't count?"
I like his moxie.
I guess it's all in the terminology. Is it two people or is it just two bodies? Because if it's just bodies,
well, I mean,
you got them on technicality, don't
which
you?
really, what do you consider a person? Is a body still a person?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, no, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
And people may feel differently.
Well, I mean, yeah, some people may. You're right. But yeah, that's what I would run. Like, hey, are you saying dead Jim in the back is not a person? You know, like he's got a family. He got a home,
And then the officer's like, well, he had a family. He had a home.
Like, hey, there's still two people traveling in the lane, buddy.
Well, anyway, it says here, and this article comes from CNN, take note, transporting a corpse does not qualify you for the carpool lane. Nevada Highway Patrol Officer Travis Samaka was on Interstate 15 on Monday when he noticed someone driving solo in the HOV lane. He stopped the car, a Chrysler minivan, and was caught off guard by what the driver said. The driver informed me that he had someone who was deceased in the back of the vehicle.
So far, the most shocking thing about this story is that they have a body in the back of a Chrysler minivan.
I know.
That's not a hearse.
The trooper peered inside, and sure enough, it was equipped like a hearse with a rail and a gurney holding a deceased person. So this was a fancy hearse. This wasn't a traditional hearse.
They were going to pick him up. It's not like the funeral one, where you roll out the real hearse. This is like, hey, he died down to nursing home. You need to go pick him up.
And FedEx doesn't do this yet.
That's right. Yeah, Amazon will be doing it by drone before too long.
Yes. The driver asked, so he doesn't count in the back. Samaka said he got a good chuckle out of it, but he informed the driver that no deceased people do not count. He let the driver off with a warning.
That's good. That's what I would have done too.
Yeah. It just threw me off. That was one of the more interesting responses I've gotten, Samaka said. To drive in the HOV lane, there needs to be more than one living occupant in the vehicle. Mannequins and pets don't count.
Okay.
So
I would have been like, show me where it says that in the law.
You just made that up.
Yeah, you just made that up. That doesn't say living. I know it doesn't say living.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, I think if you had got a ticket, you just take it to court, and this is the test case.
That's right.
And then we're going to find out now. We're going to let the judge rule on this, and then we can all go through our appeals. Right. Who knows? Maybe we'll get up to the Supreme Court.
I don't remember
State Supreme Court
where I was going, or really even who I was with. But one time I was going to like a concert or something, and we were around some big city that had a carpool lane. Mm-hmm. I'm from Fed, Alabama. I don't know anything about it. So I'm just in the carpool lane, just like smoking. Like, what are all these other idiots doing over here? And then I saw a big sign. It was like carpool lane. And I was like, well, do I merge now? Because I've been riding for like 2 or 3 miles already. And so I just rolled on in the carpool lane. Of course, I never got pulled over.
Right.
But yeah, I was just like, wow, this is really nice. Why is nobody driving over here?
I noticed that there was it seems like there's some of them where they have a carpool lane, but it's only during certain hours of the day.
Like peak traffic time.
Yeah, so if you're like, if it's on the weekend.
Yeah, you're just good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I wish we could kind of do that in Tuscaloosa. Just throw in a car. They're already working on roads.
We don't have enough lanes for that.
No, we need to add a few. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Have you not seen the army of orange barrels downtown?
Yes. Yeah, we're road construction central.
Bad time to have a business downtown.
Yeah, right. I'm glad mine went out before all of this, because this definitely would have put it out.
You wasn't already shut down. This would have been the nail in the coffin that did it.
Now, I will say the Fruita Bowls place, they were like, hey, guys, we got to close because of all the construction. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, no, go shop at Fruita Bowls. And they're like, oh, surprise, we're going to stay open now,
Psych.
Yeah, which I was like, that's a really good idea,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I got everybody coming back down here.
Do you ever have had a Fruita Bowl?
No.
I've never had a Fruita Bowl.
Me either.
It just seems kind of like a hipster thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. I was in the smoothie business for a short period of time, had a smoothie shop. People
Right.
don't know that. And you got to sell a lot of smoothies to pay your rent. I would think you got to sell a lot of bowls of fruit to pay your rent too. So,
Or you just charge $7 for a bowl of fruit.
right, but still, even at $7, you got to kick them out. And how many people are coming to get bowls of fruit in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
I know
down
somebody we could ask.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not down in their business or anything. I'm just trying to think practically.
Right.
Of course, I'm the dude who has a restaurant that didn't last, so maybe I'm not the guy who needs to worry about any of that.
Maybe.
Okay, so let's move on to another dead body here.
Okay.
Alligators surround body in Florida lake, police say. A badly decomposed body was found near the shore of a Florida lake, and witnesses said alligators could be to blame, the Tampa Bay Times reported. The body was found in the mangroves near the shore of Lake Maggiore in St. Petersburg on Thursday morning. According to a news release, St. Petersburg police officers said there were signs of alligator involvement, although due to the condition of the body, it's too soon to know the cause of death. Witnesses say they saw alligators dragging the body through the water.
Golly.
It is badly decomposed, St. Petersburg Police Department spokeswoman Yolanda Fernandez said.
That's giving somebody night terrors.
Yeah, we're unable to tell anything about it, gender or race or anything. There is no way we can tell when the gators became involved. St. Petersburg resident Otis Crawford and his partner Patricia Kays said they found the body at about 8 a.m., the Times reported, and they said it was surrounded by 10 gators, the newspaper said. I saw an alligator take a chunk out of the body, throw it up in the air, catch it, and eat it, said
Okay,
Kays.
you're just putting on now.
She said,
Hold on, gators, they don't play with their food like that before they eat it, do they?
no, but it's like Jurassic Park, man. They don't have hands, right?
Right.
To get it, you got to get that arm position right to go down the gullet,
But, I don't know. I've seen killer whales, toss seals around in the air before they eat them.
Yes, but they are mammals.
I didn't think gators did that.
But she had to go back to her car after that. She couldn't watch anymore. Like that was a straw that broke the back.
Like, I'm good with a decomposed body
and just gators nibbling on it.
And dragging it through the swamp. But when they start tossing it up in the air and putting on a show, she's like, okay, that's enough.
She said that's when they called the police, and the investigation is ongoing. So trying to figure out why the guy died or girl. We don't know gender. Why the person died. Don't want to assume this dead body's gender.
Right.
But so, we're discussing whoever killed this person is like, yes, this is going great.
Go.
Yeah, go Gators.
It could have been the gators that killed him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We don't know.
I was reading some discussion about this on a separate website, and they were talking about the difference between gators in Louisiana and gators in Florida.
Okay.
And then they said that Florida gators are a little more aggressive because in Louisiana, they kill them. They're like, those gators know that their two-legged, friends on the shore will kill them and eat them and make boots out of them and hat bands and everything else.
Gumbo.
And they're like, in Florida, people feed them in their backyard and, because all these Yankees move down here and stuff. So, so they're a little more aggressive around people than they are in Louisiana. So I don't know.
That's interesting. That's believable.
Yeah. We're getting more and more gators up this way, too.
We are. That's true.
So maybe we'll find out one day. I don't know. Maybe. We need to get the, what was that, TLC show or History Channel?
History Channel, Swamp People.
Swamp People. We need to get them on the case,
Shoot them.
Get Troy. Shoot them. All
right. Man, we're talking about a lot of crime stories.
Yeah.
In this episode, and we're going to continue that trend right here. Woman falsely reported that her husband killed her, police say.
Okay. That's tough. Wow.
This comes from Utah.
Was this the same guy who robbed the bank to get away from her?
Maybe. A woman who allegedly thought her husband was cheating on her was arrested Tuesday after falsely reporting that her husband had killed her, police say. Rebecca Spring Nielsen, 44, of Bluffdale, was arrested for investigation of criminal mischief and making a false police report involving death. The unusual incident started at 2 a.m. Tuesday when a woman called 911 after receiving text messages from a person purporting to be Nilsen's husband, stating that he had shot his wife and he didn't know what to do. According to a Salt Lake County Jail report, the woman asked the man if he was serious, and he responded by text that he wasn't joking, the report stated.
Oh.
Police officers from Saratoga Springs, Harriman, and the Unified Police Department responded to the husband's Bluffdale home, surrounded it, and ordered the residents to come out. That's when Nilsen walked up to the officers on the scene. So this is the woman who's supposed to be dead.
Of course.
Now she's walking up to the officers. Investigators trying to unravel what was going on learned that Nilsen and her husband had gotten into an argument several hours earlier because the husband was texting another woman.
No.
The report states...
do it. You had to get your wife mad. You know?
Nilsen allegedly smashed her husband's laptop. Then she took her husband's phone and she left. After leaving, Nilsen began sending texts to the woman that her husband had been texting, claiming to be her husband. And then that is when she allegedly told the woman, again, she's acting like her husband here in this scenario, that he had shot his wife. She's texting the mistress,
right?
Hey, I just killed my wife.
Now we can be together.
What are we going to do? Yeah. Rebecca claimed that she wanted to see how the woman would respond, and that Rebecca wanted to see if the woman would be covering up the crime. Police say Nilsen and her husband have been married for about 10 months.
Oh, classic love. 10 whole months. Man.
So,
well,
what's that whole saying, hell hath no fury, like a woman
yeah.
scorned?
Yeah. I had some different ones in mind. Well, I just think it's odd. I don't know if it's odd, but I find it interesting that usually crazy people find each other really easily.
They do.
Very rarely. I mean, it does happen. You got like a really super normal person hitched up with just an absolute nutso. That's usually in the case of one of them's really rich and the other one's not. But yeah, crazy people like, we've been married for 10 months. I'm already texting other women. Yeah. And now my wife is accusing me of murdering her via text.
Do you think that's crazy people finding each other, or do you think that's crazy people driving their other partner insane?
Well, I don't know.
During the relationship.
That's an interesting point to ponder. But I will say we have a mutual friend who was once married to what I would deem a super crazy person.
Right.
And he did not get driven crazy any more than any more than
he was already a little crazy. Not super crazy.
Well, I wouldn't even say his hobbies would be. I would consider them crazy.
Right.
Eccentric, maybe.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm with you.
But not crazy. He's definitely not unstable in any way, and does what he has to do to take care of his family and all that. Everyone would look at him and go, he's a good guy. Yeah. Right.
I will say after her, though, these eccentric hobbies, they got dialed up just a little.
Well, she was sucking the life out of him, Yeah. I mean, and he didn't have enough, time and energy because it was all going towards dealing with a crazy woman.
Right. Right.
Anyways, that's a little bit of inside. Like a lot of our listeners are like, "Well, I don't care. We can leave it in there." We haven't used any names or anything.
No.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the cases of what I would consider a pretty normal person and a crazy person. He didn't go crazy.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he could have.
That's what I say. Now, I mean.
You want to talk about if I was in his shoes, we wouldn't be on this podcast because I would have murdered several people. I mean, it would have been bad. I would have went completely off my rocker. So, kudos to him.
I was going to say our podcast would be me going down to the mental hospital every week, and sitting across from you in a wheelchair in the activity room.
I was thinking if we had down at the jail and they have one of those
glass.
Yeah, and I'm talking on the phone through it.
And I have to tell you all the news stories because
you holding up printouts of the news stories so I can read them.
That's because you don't ever get any news or anything. Right. You don't know what's going on with the outside world.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome, though. That's not a bad concept.
I was about to say, now that I think about it,
yeah,
maybe we should launch a.
Should I just go to jail? I could probably find a reason to go to jail.
We don't need you to go to jail, but. You look like the kind of guy like you probably know some people in jail, don't you?
Yeah, I know a few. I know.
Well, there you go.
Have I told you about the time my mom was on a grand jury and she had to inspect the jail in our hometown? And said when she was going through, grand jury is a pretty serious deal, when she was going through it, everybody was like, "Hey, Miss Long, how's John? Hey, Miss Long, what's John up to these days?" And you're supposed to not be known or anything like that. Yes. And they're all like, "Hey, Miss Long, what's going on?"
Did she ask you about it?
No, she just told me about it. It was like people I went to high school with, and people, because Dad's grocery store was right next to the jail for forever, who knew her because she worked at Dad's grocery store for a long time. So, yeah, I've always thought that was pretty funny.
You've got friends in low places.
Yes, I have friends all across the social strata.
That's true.
And that's
a good way to be.
Yeah, man. And I consider them all friends.
Right.
Not all of them are close friends, but we're still friends. And if I need to have somebody killed, I know the guy to call and get it done. If somebody ever harms me or my family, and I'm just like, "Hey, I'm in place to call," because we've always been friends, and he would probably do it for me. So,
and it's not that big a deal to him.
No, oh yeah, no, he has no regard for even his own life, much less anyone else's. So, yeah. It's good to have people like that on your team. I just say.
Well, you definitely don't want them on the opposite side.
No, exactly.
You don't want to line up against them.
No, not at all. Not of this dude who, I won't even get into stories about him.
So
it may get back to him, and then that would be bad. So let's move on to our next story here. It comes from The Guardian, and the headline reads, "We're anti-influencer. Ice cream truck makes Instagram stars pay double."
Uh-oh.
Which I'm 100% on board with this guy. I would like to shake his hand. Customers at Joe Nishi's ice cream truck have increasingly had the same demand. "Give us your ice cream for free." CVT Soft Serve, a popular truck in Los Angeles, has started to receive weekly requests from self-proclaimed Instagram influencers who promise to post a photo of Nietzsche's ice cream if they don't have to pay. Nietzsche has always said no, but this week he found an unusual way to profit off of the influencers. He publicly told them to go away. Nietzsche went viral after posting a sign that said influencers pay double, writing on Instagram that he would never give you free ice cream in exchange for a post. The image tagged #influencers are gross spread around the globe. And now Nietzsche said his business is booming, attracting fans across Southern California who share his disdain of influencers. "We're the anti-influencer influencers," he told The Guardian on Wednesday. He's actually became what he hates.
Right.
It's weird, but I think it's really fun. I hope it inspires small businesses to hold their own and tell people to screw off. Some brands and businesses now rely on Instagram stars to advertise their products and services, giving away free meals and hotel stays to people who positively post about their experience. The phenomenon has become so pervasive,
Yes.
that some Instagrammers can easily scam companies. One Instagram influencer recently staged a surprise wedding engagement, but he had actually sent an itinerary to marketers months prior. It's so trendy to be an influencer that some people have taken to pretending their content is sponsored when it's not. Wow, how low down are these people?
I know.
Nietzsche understands the importance of promotion. He's a working actor in LA who started CVT Soft Serve in 2014 as a way to supplement his income. "This is a money-making thing. I can't give away my ice cream for free," he said, noting that he had paid for his first truck with his salary from shooting a commercial. "They love using the word exposure. It's so ridiculous," he said. But the frequency of requests began to escalate, and they became more uncomfortable as they started happening in person. Nietzsche said, "The most painful thing for me is when they approach me at the truck." Never made sense to him. "Are you out of your mind?" he said. "This is $4. But obviously they wouldn't be asking if people weren't saying yes. He's just on a campaign against it. But at the end of the article, it did say that he let the Guardian reporter try his ice cream for free. So he's not all against free promotion.
Wait, are you sure? Because I think it said they made him pay for it.
Oh, yeah. No, it's right. It said that's right. Oh, man. Yeah, they did make you pay
there's
for
one
it.
celebrity story in there. Read that one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
This is what I get for not proofreading. Okay, he said an assistant to a famous actor, a woman on a television show who he declined to name, recently asked if he would donate ice cream to the cast and crew. In exchange, the actor offered to take a photo at his truck. His response was, "As much as I'd love to do that, I don't think my kid's school accepts celebrity photos as a form of tuition payment." The assistant responded with a nasty and vaguely threatening message, he said, along the lines of, "I should be careful with my words. This is a very small town."
All he did, okay, well, first of all, it's not a small town.
No.
It's L.A.
Yeah, right. I would imagine the acting community, they try to act like, that's why you see all the same people in the same movies, I guess, or something like that.
Well, I think there is something to
I know
that.
Harvey Weinstein, and I can get you banned from every movie or whatever.
Right.
Not that that's the name you need to drop. That's like the only Hollywood producer name I know.
I was say he's toxic now.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to drop that name
yeah,
anymore.
he did a lot of bad stuff with some houseplants. So,
But I was listening to an episode of Rhett and Link's Ear Biscuits. Are you familiar with Rhett and Link?
I know Rhett and Link, but I didn't know they have is it a podcast?
They have a podcast. I mean, they do a little bit of everything on
Listen
the
to it
internet.
after you listen to ours. That's fine. But yeah, I know they make crazy commercials.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I don't listen to every single episode, but I was listening to one where they were talking about, because they're trying to kind of break into the business or whatever.
Yeah.
They're wanting to do movies or whatever.
Oh,
Or apparently they were at one time.
Yeah.
But they said that you go get an agent, and then this agent tries to get you in parties. And then when you get in parties, you meet influential people who you try to strike up deals with, and they put you in their movies or commercials or television shows or whatever.
Yeah.
But all of it is, when we're trying to say, like handshake agreements, like all this is done not in a business room. This is all done at parties.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I imagine. That's how I kind of always imagined it working. Like you would just go and be like, "Hey, Mr. Cruz, let me tell you how much I love Scientology, and let me pitch you my movie while I'm talking to you about it," And that's what I would imagine. Or here's my script. Check it out.
Sounds horribly inefficient to me.
Yeah, right.
It seems like there'd be better ways to do
Yes,
that.
I agree. But, I guess that's how it works.
But I guess it gets gross when Mr. Celebrity, who's rich,
won't even buy
and
ice
they're wanting
cream.
free $4 ice cream, not just for them, but for their entire
whole
crew.
Yeah.
And hey, if you don't give us this free ice cream, then we're going to tell everybody not to shop at your truck, and you'll go out of business. That's horrible. So good for him for fighting back.
When I had my restaurant, I would find, like a really popular sorority girl or whatever, and send her a message and be like, "Hey, if you come and eat at Rolling Pole and just take a picture, put it on your Instagram, I'll feed you for free." Because it was good marketing for me to reach that group of people, because she had 4,000 friends, and she's like super beautiful, like college girl who's never going to remember me. But all the people who see that she's eating at Rolling Pole will be like, "Hey, let's go eat down there." So it can be an effective way to market.
But when you have nobody coming up to you and they're demanding free food, and free whatever.
Right. When people solicit you for free food, then that's when I would be like that dude. It's like, no, I'm going to pick who I want to do this, not some person who just sent me a message over Instagram or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, we used to have a pizza place here in town called Bambino Pizza.
Oh, I remember Bambino.
Bambino was a great pizza. They got shut down basically because all the Greek, fraternities and sororities went on a boycott of them and quit ordering from them. So that's why they closed down. Yeah.
What'd they do that for?
I don't remember what the deal was, but yeah. So I would imagine that would be like an actor being like, "Hey, it's a very small town," like whoever the president of Kappa Alpha or whoever was like, "Hey, this is a small town, Bambino Pizza. I'll ruin your life,"
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, "Yeah, whatever, dude," and he walks out. Then a little while later, he's like, "Hey, we're not getting delivery orders like we used to, so maybe I made a bad choice here."
Yes. It's a
Miss
world.
Bambino Pizza, by the
I
way.
do too, man. Bambino's was awesome.
Really great pizza, yeah.
Their logo had the elephant. It almost looked like, it wasn't Dumbo, but it was
No, it's
kind of
close.
side, almost like Barnum and Bailey Circus logo, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a Bambino's t-shirt somewhere. I'm sure if I found it, I couldn't fit into it anymore.
Anyway, our next story here, and I've saved this one for last, or at least this is my last story. Florida man posing as an officer pulls over an off-duty sheriff's deputy.
Oh, what a bad move.
I mean,
what are the chances you get an off-duty deputy?
I know. I mean, it kind of concerns me. I mean, if you've got the fortitude to, pretend to be an officer.
Right.
I mean, but then you're going to take it one step further and you're going to pull somebody over.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's just kind of scary. It makes you wonder, what was he going to do?
Well, there was a while back around here, there was a guy that was pulling people over that wasn't a cop and like soliciting women, like, hey, I'll let you off the ticket
That's
if you,
gross.
yeah. And he got found out real quick because people were like, hey, 911, this officer is asking me to take my top off here to do a field sobriety test or whatever it was. And he got found out real quick.
Hopefully he's still in prison.
I hope so, yeah.
A man posing as a police officer in Florida pulled over another driver this week, but the motorist turned out to be an actual sheriff's deputy. Barry Hastings Jr. was arrested for impersonating an officer when he attempted to pull over an off-duty Lee County Sheriff's deputy, according to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. The deputy was driving on I-4 when a black Crown Victoria with white and amber lights pulled behind him with the emergency lights activated.
Oh, yeah.
The sheriff's office said. After the deputy pulled his vehicle to the shoulder, the sheriff's office said that Hastings, 35, told him to slow down. When the deputy twice asked Hastings for his credentials, Hastings insisted that he was an officer and that his credentials were at the office, according to the sheriff's office.
Just left him at the office.
Which said that he offered to lead the deputy back to the station to get him. So,
okay.
You really need to see my credentials?
Right.
Then follow me. We'll go back to the station.
We'll go back to the office. If I was that dude, I'd be like, okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
Hastings fled when the deputy said that he would contact law enforcement and dial 911.
Yep.
So this is when keeping it real goes wrong, But was stopped by Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputy when he exited the highway, officials said. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office died.
Man, this chair is squeaking like crazy, too,
Yes.
by the way. I'm
you know
sorry.
what? I was going to bring some WD-40 this week.
Sorry.
And try to spray on
And
it,
I'm like
but
fidgety anyways. It's not good.
A Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office said that a functional siren box and a light setup were found in his vehicle, as well as a CB radio, according to the Sheriff's Office, which said that no handcuffs or firearms were found. So,
Okay. That's good. He wasn't kinky.
Amanda Granite, a spokeswoman for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, told ABC News that Hastings bonded out of the Hillsborough County Jail early Friday. It was not immediately clear if Hastings had legal representation. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's going to get a public defender.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, yeah, I know, like, when you're watching the movie, sometimes somebody will pretend to be law enforcement because they're trying to, get information about somebody or something, Yeah. But to pull somebody over,
That's bold.
That's bold.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, well, like we were talking about a minute ago, what was he going to do? What was he going to do?
And this probably wasn't the first guy he's ever pulled over. You know? You think he's like a dude that like applied for police academy and didn't get in, and he's just like, I'm out here helping society and telling people to slow down on my own. It
makes you wonder. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I remember years and years and years ago, I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, and we was watching the nightly news. This was still back when news was local.
Yeah. When news was important.
When you'd watch it at morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
And there was a local story about a police officer who had recently retired, but I guess, he just couldn't.
Still had the itch.
Couldn't let it go. He had the itch. He had him an old radar gun, and he would pull up behind people, and he would, radar their car, and then he would like honk his horn and yell at them, telling them to slow down and showing them like the gun where they were going too fast.
Right.
And I have no idea if it's the same guy, but there was one night we were downtown and I forget where we were going. We were going somewhere and it was a weeknight, so there wasn't a lot of traffic. It was late at night and we did a right on red and then we parked on the side of the road. And this guy, I have no idea who it was. He wasn't dressed like a police officer, or he wasn't in a uniform, officer's uniform. But he pulled up beside us and he rolled down his window. And he's like, "What do you think you're doing?" And I was like, "We're just walking." And he said, "You pulled a 1 to 3 back there." And I was like, "Well, okay, what's a 1 to 3?" And he said, you did a 1 to 3, and that's illegal. And I was like, well, I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it again.
Right.
It would help if you tell me what that is.
Well, I'd have been like, is there anything like a 6 to midnight? You know?
Or a 6 to 9.
Okay, buddy.
But anyway, he yelled at us about pulling 1 to 3, whatever that is, and he drove off.
Well, see, you were going this way, and then you went this way. So, like, if you're looking at a clock, I guess straight ahead. Well, straight ahead would be 12.
But you can...
And you take a 90 degree,
that'd
be
right on red, can't you? And,
I guess.
And we were like one of the few cars on the road.
Wow.
But he drove off, and it's always been in the back of my head. I bet that was the same dude.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I got yelled at for running a red light one time by somebody who wasn't in uniform. I don't know if it was a cop, but he looked like a cop. Right. Like had the cop haircut and all that.
Chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. and it was downtown Tuscaloosa, like at 1 o'clock one night. I was leaving the shop, and I was going across University Boulevard, the red light. There's absolutely no cars at all. So I pull up like a 4-way stop and just go. Next thing you know, I don't know where the guy was. He like whips in behind me and whips around. We're almost by the parking deck that's downtown. He like hollers, and I roll down my window, and he's like, "You can't run a red light, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, sorry, buddy." And I hung a right on like 7th Street, went on out, went home, But I ain't trying to get involved with all this. I'm just going home or whatever it was.
It's really a shame, because I understand that police officers, the reason many, not all, but the reason a lot of police officers are super authoritarian and super, strict with folks is because they're dealing with horrible people every single day.
Right.
And it's a shame that, we can't come together.
Right. Well, as a friend of mine told me, he's a game ward now, but he was a police officer at the time, because I was like, look, man, what can't you do is just be nicer, I was just like,
the reason is because nobody is nice to them.
He said that's part of that. And he said also, he's like, we have to have control of the situation from the beginning, and so we have to establish dominance. Or I'm like, hey, man, I'm not a dog, Like, all you got to do is just be like, hey, sir, let me see your driver's license or whatever. And he's like, well, that's just how we're trained to do it, to take control, because you never know who you're dealing with and all that. I'm like, well, that's cool, man. But chances are, married 42-year-old guy in a Toyota Avalon is not going to try to run from you. I've got a lot on the plate here. I don't need to lose.
I don't know. Maybe you haven't watched enough Cops.
True. There's a really great movie called Run, Ronnie, Run. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man, it's so fun. It's about a guy who just makes it his life's purpose to get on cops. You should watch it. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to my last story. It comes out of Florida, and this is kind of a feel-good story.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we've had kind of a downer show. Thanks to Todd for sending this to me. Florida man finds shark tooth in foot 25 years after an attack.
Wow. You think that would have popped up in an
X-ray or something?
Yeah.
Jeff Weekly was surfing at Flagler Beach in Florida in 1994 when he was bitten in the foot by a shark. Now he knows what kind of shark bit him, thanks to a tooth fragment he pulled from his foot more than 2 decades after the attack. Weekly was surfing with some friends in college when he felt something bite his foot. He saw he was bleeding, and he went to the hospital where he received 20 stitches. I didn't see the shark, but doctors were sure it was a shark bite. I went into the database as one of the statistics, he said. He said he suffered no major damage to his foot. But in 2018, Weekly started running and noticed a blister appear on his foot, and he started picking at it and discovered it had a hard edge. Oh, yeah. I pulled on it, and it came out, and immediately I knew what it was, said Weekly, who lives in Jensen Beach, Florida now. Right around the time he discovered the tooth, he had read an article about a research team at the University of Florida who had used DNA from a tooth to discover what kind of shark bit a boy in New York. Weekly decided if he could get the answer to his attack's greatest mystery, what kind of shark bit him. He contacted the Media Relations Department at the Florida Program for Shark Research at the Florida Museum of Natural History. Very lengthy name. I would like for them to shorten that up a little bit. It's tough to get that on a business card.
Right.
And he told them he had a tooth sample he wanted to submit for testing. He admits he was hesitant to give the tooth to the researchers for fear that maybe he and the doctors had been wrong. Up until that point, I was a statistic, a shark attack survivor, But what if it could be a mackerel attack? He said.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, right. The scientists soaked the tooth to remove contaminants and extracted the DNA according to their published findings. Then they compared the genetics to their database and they got a match. A few weeks ago, Weekly received the results. His attacker. It was a black-tipped shark, a common culprit behind shark bites in Florida. Researchers were surprised that they were able to extract DNA from the fragment given the amount of time the tooth was embedded in Weekly's foot. I had put our odds of success at slim to none, Gavin Naylor, who is the director of the program, said. Weekly, who still surfs, said he's happy he found an answer to one of his life's mysteries. Anything that helps understand our natural world is worth it. I'm happy to make a contribution, he said. The end. So, after all these years, he found out what kind of shark bit him, which is kind of cool. But you would think,
Yeah.
and like I was discussing this with Todd, I was like, you would think you would notice, like, over time, like, hey, I've got something in my foot here,
Right.
you know? But like Todd said, he's still got, graphite and stuff, and I got graphite in my leg here and right by my eye. It doesn't bother me at all. But that's not a shark tooth, so
I was about to say, a shark tooth is different from like a little sliver of metal that you get in shop class or something.
true, right?
Man.
And I used to have some rocks in my hands, but they've all came out over time from a bike wreck one time. So just got all up in there. I didn't go to the doctor. Mom put like some mercurochrome on it or whatever.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Healthcare is not cheap.
No,
And
not
if
at
I can
all.
avoid a doctor's visit,
Not at all.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't get me started on healthcare again. All right? I might say some bad words. According to one listener, okay, and fellow podcaster, who's going to do a whole expose on me using a bad word that I didn't use.
And John's going to be hollering fake news the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I would like to do, and I don't know, this is just a little, like Kevin will be the only person who gets this, is I would like to just come over to his house and say the F word in every accent I can, and let him have that as a comparable.
As a control?
Yeah,
for the
as a
experiment?
control for the thing, because he doesn't know how I say it. He only knows how he thinks I say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I may have to do is just go over one day and drop off about 50 F-bombs, let him record them all, and then he can compare.
And also, you'll be getting it out of your system.
Oh, yeah, right. Here you go, just when I'm mad one day about something, just turn on the mic and let me rant.
Oh, man. Well, do we have any problems this week?
I have no problems other than my van breaking down.
Okay.
Yeah, no real problems. All right, so let's talk about our friends over at Cajun Curl. We want to thank them because they're our sponsor, our original sponsor, a number one sponsor.
And we really are sponsored.
That's right, we really are.
Not like all these fake
Yeah, we're not
influencers
fake
that claim
influencers.
to be sponsored
That's
so they
right.
can get a free $4 ice cream
That's
in LA.
right. Yes, we can't even tell you the benefits we get from the Cajun Curl Empire. Yes, because, it is numbered into many. We both got a hat, all right?
Yeah.
I don't want to brag, but we both got a hat.
I've gotten 2 meals.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Nice. Yeah, I got a meal, too. I at least got one meal. Well, no, we went over there and ate.
Yeah, we went over there and ate.
Oh, yeah, 2 meals.
That's
nice. Nice. Yes. So we want to thank Cajun Curl, their world-famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice, for all of their support. Check them out at CajunCurl.com. You can order the spice and their Cajun Curl cutter for potatoes right there on CajunCurl.com. It was created on the Elm Bayou in Evangeline Parish, Louisiana, and it's a seasoning that goes on everything. If you like cooking or eating, this is a spice for you. Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice goes well with chicken, beef, pork, potatoes, especially French fries, and anything else you can think of putting it on. Their spiral potato cutter is absolutely amazing. It's easy to use, it's easy to clean, and it will allow you to make your own chips using the Cajun Curl spice. If you want to turn your next cookout or event up a notch, imagine whipping up a batch of homemade potato chips. Your next door neighbor isn't going to be able to top that. and we all want to flex on our neighbors. I'm in a new neighborhood. I'm about to whip up a batch and invite everybody over, and I'm like, oh, you don't make your own Cajun Curl potato chip? Oh, wow, how sad for you.
This is a Cajun thing. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah, you wouldn't understand because I'm Cajun. And let me tell you, the homemade chips and Cajun Curl with Cajun Curl will change your life. And that's no joke, for real. They really
are
great. I mean, no joke. On their website, CajunCurl.com, you can not only order the original Bayou Blended Spice, but the Cajun Curl chip cutter as well. And you can also find recipes that are mind-blowing. You can locate your nearest retailer on there or order your own spice. If your local grocer doesn't carry world-famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice, ask them to start stocking it now. Here locally, it's available at Vowels on Skyland, Mark's Mart in Northport, South's Finest Meat, and Piggly Wiggly in Northport. All of their products are made in the USA, so not only do you enjoy the taste of Cajun Curl, but you also feel patriotic while you enjoy your meal. It's all natural, low salt, and it has a little kick to it, but it doesn't burn your lips. World famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice. Taste the spice, but not the heat. CajunCurl.com. Check them out and use their promo code EOP10. That's EOP and the number 10 to get a 10% discount.
Because we ask that you use the spice, but we don't ask you pay full price.
Amen.
Okay, this isn't part of the ad, but just out of curiosity, have you ever heard of an air fryer?
Yes, I have. My mother-in-law has one.
How do they work?
No idea.
Can you make Cajun Curls with an air fryer?
I would imagine you probably could. I mean, you could put Cajun Curl on anything.
You can, but I wonder, I don't expect them to taste as good as, your regular old deep fried Cajun Curls. But,
no. Well, I think, the air fryer is supposed to be more healthy.
Well, it's supposed to be more healthy, but to be honest with you, come on. Let's not kid anybody. I'm coming at this from it's
taste.
Easier.
I'm all about the taste. Like, if it tastes good, I'm down with it. I don't care if it's healthy or not.
But as far as using an air fryer, it's just...
Yeah.
It seems like it would be easier. You don't have as much cleanup.
Grease
you don't
and all
have
that.
grease that you have to mess with and stuff.
True.
I need to try that out.
I don't know. I don't even know anything about the air fryer other than my mother-in-law wanted one and we got her one.
Okay. You've never had any?
Yeah, I think I've had some stuff out of it, but
okay.
I don't know.
Isn't it basically like you cook your food with a hairdryer or something like that?
Well, so I kind of think it was like a microwave. They just remarketed it as an air fryer. Yeah.
Well, it's not using microwaves. It's using hot air to cook food.
Yeah.
I think.
Pretty much same difference to me. That's a microwave to me. We ain't got to get technical with it.
Well, anyway.
But yeah, you can use, I'm just going to go ahead and go on record. You can use Cajun Curl with your air fryer. Absolutely.
We might have to
we'll like clog up air fryers all over America.
We may need to experiment with this in the Cajun Curl labs.
Oh, yeah.
The R&D department.
Yes, right. I'm sure it's available. I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we have several reviews, but I've picked out this one of the best reviews we've gotten in a long, long time. And we love them all.
Right.
But somebody really took some time to write this.
Good.
It is from Canada.
Okay.
So they tend to be very polite people.
Yes.
So,
our lovely neighbors to the north.
Yes. This review is 5 stars.
All right.
And the title is Best Podcast Ever.
Nice.
There is just so much to love about this podcast. I love everything from start to finish. I love the galloping and braying horses at the beginning of each episode, which then transitions into this pounding, energetic, heavy metal intro music. Love it. And that's just the beginning. Literally, that's how our podcast starts off.
Right. Very pounding is a great way to put it.
Yes.
I want to adjust the volume down a little bit.
Then the real fun begins when John and Tiny start talking. John and Tiny read odd news stories from around the world, which are always interesting and amusing. Then these funny and lighthearted fellows comment and crack jokes after each story. John is a natural-born comedian, and Tiny has the most contagious laughter. I listen to very serious podcasts about the Bible, about true crime, and fringe topics, and this is the only lighthearted, funny podcast I listen to, and they have me cracking up every time I listen to them. Thank you so much. John and Tiny for teaching his fellow Christian that it is okay to laugh and be lighthearted at times. I also love hearing about your families and what is new with all of you. It brings an intimacy to your podcast, and that is refreshing and appreciated. I love your community news segment, and I love your new segment, 99 Problems.
Okay. Drop the ball a little bit on that one.
It's coming back, we promise. Hilarious. I will endeavor to come up with a top 10 list of my pet peeves, and we'll call it in so you can play it. I am your biggest fan, guys, and I really mean that. Not like John, who is the biggest fan of just about everything.
That's right.
LOL. I've listened to every one of your podcasts. And
bless your heart.
I know. And I look forward to the new episode each week. One thing that always cracks me up, and which I have now adopted as my own, is when one of you guys really messes up a name and the other guy says, nailed it, way too funny. By the way, this podcast comes from Clarence 230, I think.
Clarence?
I was expecting you to say nailed it.
Oh, yeah, nailed it. Oh, man, that would have been good. We need to go back.
Up there.
We should do that again, let you edit it.
By the way, this podcast comes from Clarence 230, I think.
Nailed it.
Way too funny. Do that again. Okay. And one last thing, as I think this comment is too long for most folks' short attention spans. I love your commercials for Cajun Curl.
Amen.
Who knew?
All right. That's great.
I just assumed everybody forwarded through that.
Nah. We don't want a squirrel to hear that squirrel. Nobody fast forwards through your ads. Come on. I do such a good job with it.
This week, you guys toyed with the idea of recording the ad for Cajun Curl. Please don't do that.
Okay.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I love John's personal add-ons to the ad spot every week. I tell my friends about it because it is just so funny. It's great on fruitcake, one of my favorites.
That's right, it is.
You guys convinced me to try Cajun Curl, so I bought 3 containers.
Boom.
Boom. There you go. I kept one, and I gave the other 2 to my 2 best friends. How about that? That is the friend you want to have right
that's
there.
Right.
It's going to give you Cajun Curl.
I hope you heard that part, squirrel.
Yes. He bought 3.
That's right, 3.
And then he went out and advertised for
That's
you.
right.
Tried to get some more people on board.
That's right.
The first time we used it on chicken and then grilled it up, and I was like, that's the sound of angels singing.
That's right. Well, hey, I mean, I want to bring up that Cajuns were kicked out of Canada, by the way. That's why they ended up in Louisiana. So that's great. All right.
Yes. Dudes, it was the first time I ate the whole piece of chicken without needing barbecue sauce to dip it in. No lie.
There you go.
It really is that good. So to sum it up, you guys rock. Don't change a thing because you are nailing this podcast thing. Love you both. Blessings and peace, brothers.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This just, I mean, I read this and
I made my head get big.
I was about to say.
That's not sexual, by the way. Sounds dirty, but it's not. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds dirty, but it's not.
Yes, but we believe that God gave us a sense of humor for a reason.
Right. Look at the platypus. I mean, he's got a sense of humor.
Yes.
Right. Everybody knows that.
Did you know that some species of lizards have 2 penises?
No, for real?
So,
oh, golly, how do they get anything done?
There you go. Did it again. And we like to laugh. We hope we can bring a little bit of that to everybody else who listens to this. And we realize that there are other podcasts out there that people are probably funnier and they probably have better sound quality to their podcast. They're not podcasting in a storage room in the attic of their church. But we do appreciate.
We're looking at a new studio location, by the way. We're
in a closet.
Yeah. As soon as my wife gets her closet cleaned out, we're going to move into there.
There'll be a short period where before Deidre takes over that closet as well.
Right.
Or Livy grows up and starts putting stuff in there. We'll have excellent sound quality.
What's going to happen is we're going to be recording and everyone's going to be like, hey, I need to get dressed. hey, are y'all about done? I need to get dressed.
And John's like, Dad's in the closet, okay? Right. Just give me a break.
That's the 2019 Dad's in the closet. That's that kind of a crazy thing to say.
Oh, well, anyway, thank you again so much for the kind words.
Yeah, for real.
We thank you for telling your friends about us.
Right.
And we thank you for, telling your friends about Cajun Curl.
Right.
That's awesome.
So far, you're Canadian listener number 1.
Absolutely.
Like top of the list. And we're dependent on you to be like our Canadian PR department.
Our ambassador.
Yeah, our ambassador, right. Just like Sadie in Britain. Uh-huh. And, oh man, I can't remember their name in New Zealand. Oh man, I really dropped the ball on this. We're asking you to spread the Earth Oddity gospel.
Yes,
That's
we
all.
need you to take our message to the Great White North.
That's right. Yeah, go ye therefore, and force people to download our podcast, baptizing them in Southern bred humor, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right.
All right. Well,
Is that blasphemy? That wasn't blasphemy. I didn't blaspheme. That's just a joke. A perverted scripture. I'm right up there with Olstein. Maybe I'll make $1 million soon.
you're not the first one.
That's right. Maybe me and Olstein will get on a private jet together.
Well, we need that private jet.
That's right.
It's such a good price.
That's
It'd be a
right.
sin not to buy it.
That's right. It's just forcing me to buy it at this price.
Well, anyway, you have been listening to Earth Oddity Podcast, and we thank you so much for listening to us, no matter where you get us, whether you get us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, CastBox, iHeartRadio,
Podbean for the old schoolers.
old school, you get us on Podbean app.
That's right.
We thank you so much. If you would like to write into the show, you can write into us at earthoddity@planetmail.net.
Send us your problems.
Yes, send us your problems.
That's right. We need some material. I ran through all of mine, and then I've gotten really busy here lately.
You can tweet at us. We're on Twitter.
Yep.
We are @_Earth Oddity. Do you like to look at pictures? Sometimes we post pictures.
That's right.
You can look at those pictures, _Earth Oddity on Instagram. And if all of that fails, you can leave us a voicemail.
That's right.
What's that number, John?
662-493-2059. That's 662-493-2059. Call now. Operators are standing by.
We hope everyone out there has an excellent week. Earth Oddity for the Fringe Radio Network signing off.
Love y'all.
Bye.
This has been a very odd production. Thanks for listening.